If you can be convinced that you cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
With the fence and if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that, I might do that.
President Biden's first broadcast interview after the debate leaves top Democrats still seeking a change. And Hurricane Beryl makes landfall in Texas, bringing dangerous winds and rains along the coast. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Monday, July 8th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. President Joe Biden hoped his first broadcast interview since the first presidential debate would relieve worry in his own party and create a consensus that he is the right man to take on former President Donald Trump in November's election. But following the interview, top Democratic members of the House are reportedly banding together in their belief that Biden should drop out of the race. House Democrats held a virtual private meeting on Sunday, brought together by Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and according to multiple people who attended, they discussed how to get the president to agree to step aside as their party's candidate. 4 names are being reported who spoke out during the meeting to say that Biden should end his campaign. Congressman Gerald Nadler and Joseph Morell of New York, Adam Smith of Washington, and Mark Takano of California, each a ranking committee member. Congresswoman Susan Wild of Pennsylvania released a statement after the meeting saying she expressed the same concerns that Americans across the country are grappling with about President Biden's electability at the top of the ticket. Some Democratic lawmakers, however, say they are sticking with the president. Congressman Don Beyer of Virginia saying he supports Biden, and Richard Neal of Massachusetts calling Biden a visionary, adding, "Let's keep going." During the interview with ABC News on Friday, President Biden was asked about being confronted by Democratic leaders to step aside.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi come down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail, including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. None of the people said I should leave.
But if they do?
Well, it's like, they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, Joe, get out of the race, I'd get out of the race. The Lord Almighty's not coming down.
Also in the ABC interview, the president was asked if he would be willing to take an independent medical examination, including cognitive tests. Biden replied he has a cognitive test with his duties as president every day. On Sunday, James Comer, the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee, requested Biden's personal physician testify about the president's health. With just weeks to go until it hosts the Summer Olympics, France woke up today with some unanswered questions about its government after the second round of legislative elections ended Sunday. No party won an absolute majority, and the country now faces a hung parliament. It was the left-wing alliance called the New Popular Front that secured the most seats in the French parliament. The party that just came together last month, picking up 182 seats, but far short of the 289 needed to secure a majority in the 577-seat National Assembly. President Emmanuel Macron and his centrist Ensemble alliance won 163 seats, and the far-right party National Rally trailed behind, winning 143. These results came as a surprise as the National Party was expected to be the big winner after a strong showing in the first round last week. Macron, who has said he will remain in office until 2027, called for these snap elections in hopes of giving France a, quote, moment of clarity. But Macron now has his work cut out for him, his prime minister announcing his resignation today, but Macron refusing to accept it, asking him to stay on as Macron faces a deeply divided government. Late Sunday night, Boeing agreed to plead guilty to a criminal fraud conspiracy charge in connection to 2 deadly plane crashes involving its 737 MAX jets. With the guilty plea, Boeing will be branded a criminal felon, which could jeopardize the company's ability to secure government contracts. As part of the plea agreement with the Department of Justice, Boeing will pay an additional $243.6 million fine on top of a previous $243 million fine the company has already paid. And Boeing has also agreed to invest at least $455 million in safety and compliance programs. The plea deal follows the DOJ's findings that Boeing breached a 2021 agreement to make safety changes following the 2 crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia in 2018 and 2019 that killed 346 people. The plea deal still requires a judge's approval. Families of the victims of those fatal crashes say they will ask the judge to reject the deal as they want Boeing to face a trial and harsher penalties. Early this morning, Hurricane Beryl made landfall southwest of Houston, Texas, as a Category 1 storm. That's according to the National Hurricane Center. Beryl packed winds of 80 miles per hour with gusts even stronger. More than 80,000 Texans have already lost power. As Beryl moves further inland across eastern Texas, it's bringing heavy rain, storm surges, possible tornadoes, and strong winds. The area could see rainfall between 5 to 10 inches, with some spots possibly getting up to 15 inches. Beryl is expected to quickly downgrade to a tropical storm and weaken further to a tropical depression by the time it reaches Arkansas on Tuesday morning. After months of negotiations, Paramount Global and Skydance Media have announced a deal to merge. Before becoming one company, Skydance Media will pay $2.4 billion in cash to acquire a controlling stake in Paramount, the home of the movie studio Paramount Pictures, the broadcast network CBS, and cable networks like MTV and Nickelodeon. This marks the end of an era for Paramount. The media giant has been running for decades. Skydance founder David Ellison, the son of Oracle's co-founder Larry Ellison, will become chairman and CEO of the new Paramount, which is valued at $28 billion. The agreement includes a 45-day period that gives Paramount's board an opportunity to seek a better deal if possible. Finally this morning, 4 NASA volunteers emerged from a year-long Mars simulation at Houston's Johnson Space Center, testing life on the red planet without ever leaving Earth. Inside a 3D-printed 1,700-square-foot habitat for 378 days, the crew tackled challenges like isolation, resource limits, and even conducted simulated spacewalks, mimicking what a real Mars mission would feel like. NASA has announced plans for 2 more simulated Mars missions, with the next set to begin in the first half of 2025. These are your top stories for this Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.